Last week, the governor of Guam signed the 2020 budget and started the debt bomb timer. I say this because in all the years I've lived here, government of Guam has never had an accurate budget revenue forecast. And as a result, this government has always been in the red when it comes to budgeting. I mean, up until recently, we were up to $120 million in the red. And the funny thing is that on the campaign trail, all the candidates, senator and gubernatorial alike, all campaigned on their plan to strengthen government of Guam finances. The first big lie they told us was they would roll back the business privilege tax. It wasn't needed. Neither was the fuel tax increase or the property tax increase on properties 1 million or more. But the truth is, now that they are in office, politicians want to keep the BPT forever. More fuel taxes increases are on their way. And right now they've appropriated money to reappraise all of the properties to increase the amount of property tax they collect, but more importantly, to raise the debt ceiling. That's because the government of Guam credit card is pretty much maxed out. The second big lie they told us is they would reduce the cost of government. They would streamline operations, and they would work towards stabilizing the government financially. And this is very important because here on Guam, 1 out of 3 paychecks in our economy is a government of Guam paycheck. Here's the lie we were sold. They said they were going to reduce the cost of operations. Last year's budget was $956,629,163. This year's budget is 2020's budget is $954,860,782. A difference of $1,768,381, or 0.18%. Not exactly the kind of cost savings that we were hoping for as taxpayers, and nothing that any of the senators or governor should be taking a victory lap over. The problem is they rushed this. They've had the budget since April. They waited until the last 6 days to review and approve it. In my opinion, they should have been drilling into this budget every day since April when they first received it. I went through the budget myself, and just at the top line level, Bill 186, I found about $12 million worth of cuts that could have been made that would have reduced the cost of government to the people. And I'm sure if the senators had drilled down for 100 days instead of 6, they probably could have found even more. So let's put this in perspective. In 2019, governmental operations cost taxpayers $2,620,901.82 a day. In 2020, provided everything goes right, government operations will cost taxpayers $2,616,056.94. It's a difference of about $4,844.88 per day. And there are some important things that were not included in this budget. This budget does not reflect the collection of the more than $100 million in taxes and property taxes still out there. It doesn't include funding to hire more revenue officers to go out and collect those taxes. It doesn't include funding for a computer so that we can computerize and really do a better job at tracking where the government of Guam funds go. This budget included hiring 50 more police officers, but they should have funded hiring 200 police officers based on the rapid growth of meth-driven crime, violence, and even the number of home invasions. And it's funny because Guam Memorial Hospital, as bad shape as they are financially, losing patients, losing business to Guam Regional, still hired nearly 200 people. Also, not included in this budget is funding for future increases in the healthcare premiums as a result of the Guam Regional Medical Center welfare bill. When we look at the court and see how much the court premiums went up, they went up from $1 million to $1.5 million, a 50% increase on 417 employees. What's going to happen when the budget negotiations finally conclude and we learn that the government of Guam is facing a similar increase? Do you think the senators are going to go back to the largest voting bloc in just before elections and say, hey, you guys are going to have to pay much more for insurance than you did last year? I don't think so. They're going to stick it on the back of taxpayers like they always do. And what's funny, based on the hearings we had on Guam Memorial back in 17 and 18, we know that 75% of the patients that go to Guam Memorial have no or inadequate health insurance. So we're going to be paying for the increased premiums for government of Guam employees. The truth is, instead of reducing the cost of operations, they've added new directors. Instead of streamlining the government, they've added new agencies or revived dead agencies. And instead of making the government financially stable, we've seen a host of pork barrel pay raises going out, and we've been warned by the governor herself to expect to see more. The third lie they told us on the campaign was that they were all going to see the government was more accountable to the people, that it would be more transparent to the people, and they would work towards achieving financial stability. Well, we know those, just based on the past 8 months and the legislation passed so far, we know those are lies. But with this crew holding the keys to the public treasury, what could possibly go wrong? Just in the news last week, we saw that the federal government cut the military budgets for the buildup by $260 million, transferring the money to the border wall. We've also seen that the federal government is running back-to-back trillion-dollar deficits, and they're looking at cutting programs to help offset the budget deficits. Now, whose programs do you think are going to get cut? Texas with 2 senators and 39 congressmen, or the territories with no senators and no voting congressmen? So we're at risk there. It's just unbelievable to me how many former government employees are winning the lottery, the civil service lottery, suing government of Guam for being improperly terminated because our managers and directors apparently are so incompetent that they don't know how to terminate a government employee for cause without costing the taxpayers nearly $1 million in each case. And what if our healthcare system here on Guam blows up? We're in the beginning stages of chronic healthcare disease explosions. Diabetes rates are going up, cancer rates are going up, heart attack and cardiac rates are going up. But the funding for our healthcare system is not keeping up with the demand. Guam has a growing healthcare crisis. We're just not prepared for it. The legislature and the governor are ignoring this potential healthcare crisis to use the money to play pork barrel politics to support politically well-connected insiders, as we saw with Bill 30 and the Guam Regional Medical Center Rescue Bill. In the meantime, Guam Memorial Hospital is still in danger of losing its CMS certification, which makes it eligible for Medicare and Medicaid funds. What I expect to see happen sometime next year is that all these things will reach a crisis point, and the legislature will start holding hearings to issue a new bond to save Guam Memorial Hospital. And they'll park a hearse in front of it like they did in the Calvo administration, and we'll have a parade of all the doctors talking about how they need this money and equipment to save lives. And then, at the very end, the senators will take that health care premium deficit and roll it into a bond or a loan and stick it on the back of the taxpayers. What happens if tourism slows down? What happens if North Korea starts lobbing rockets our direction? What happens if the economic war between South Korea and Japan and China causes damage to those economies and we see the tourists drop from South Korea and Japan? Could happen. We're starting to see some of the spill off onto the economies now, because now we got 5 of the world's top economies in danger of going into a recession. Right now we have tensions rising in the Philippines as well, as China and the Philippines are starting to battle over the islands that China's building bases on that the Philippines claims, and they're dragging the United States military into the middle of it. And if any of these things happen, with the budget we've just passed, we've stepped closer to the edge of the financial cliff that Puerto Rico went over in 2016. So if anything goes wrong and the debt pump trigger reaches 0, Governor Liu will have a chance to keep another one of her campaign promises.
I may have to go and meet President Trump, and if I do have to do that, I would swallow what I need to swallow.
I'm Ken Leon-Guerrero, and this has been a public information presentation by Guam Citizens for Public Accountability.